Hello guys, in this video I would like to make up for a class that we've missed last week. I'm sorry I couldn't attend. Would like in this class to wrap up paid search altogether. So now that we covered almost all aspects of paid search, would like to wrap it up and also would like to talk about cases of best practices. Let me just get also this set of slides. I have cases of best practices with Google search that I would like to talk about. So at the very beginning we talked about an introduction to paid search. In fact, we talked about the most important part of paid search is its advantages over the traditional marketing. First, we talked about the advantages of pay per click. It's performance based. It is more toward targeting a more specific audience. It is thus very well optimizing your budget and your time. It is also more advanced features of Google paid search could also work for targeting like remarketing or retargeting existing customers. So it could help with acquiring new customers as well as remarketing to existing customers. There are two different kinds of paid search advertisements. The first is the usual text-based ads, as you can see here, the text-based, and then there is the product listings kind of ad, the PLAs kind of advertisements. These PLAs, these ones are set up through Google Shopping, but these are through the Google search. All right. This is the anatomy of a text, an expanded text ad. As you can see, it has multiple headlines. Now it includes 3 different headlines, and usually we have this headline usually emphasizes the brand. Also over here we have the path. So it is very important that we have also our path being optimized and written in a very user-friendly manner. Over here we have the text or the description. With the description it should have a call to action. So over here they're just saying we've worked with some of the biggest global brands. Now is the call to action. Fill out a contact form now. So this is a call to action. Then we have also ad extensions. Ad extensions are free, and we talked about the 3 different kinds of ad extensions. The first ad extensions we talked about were the site links, as you can see over here. These are deep links within the website where you expect most traffic to be directed toward these pages to perform certain activity. And then you have also the callouts extensions. With the callouts extensions you focus on certain features in your store and so on. There's also other extensions called snippets. These, for example, if you have an e-commerce store, you can specify different categories or styles, men, women, kids, and so on. I showed you an example. So one of the advantages, again, if you're asking yourself what are the advantages of pay per click, you should always recall the performance based and also the targeting, the audience, well targeted prospects or audience. Also the relative ranking with the quality score. It's very much related to the search engine optimization, the organic search engine optimization. Then there is also other list of advantages and then the list of disadvantages. Please take a look at these when you're studying for the quiz. Then we also talked about the campaign process and the keywords match type. So the campaign process, basically we're talking about Google Ads. With Google Ads, advertisers usually already identified keywords. They've done the key phrase analysis or the keywords analysis that we've done together earlier, guys. If you guys remember, we've done it in the previous module. So now you understand which keywords are most likely to attract attention, to get you the best results, to get you enough traffic. And also you have already kind of sketched a tree where you're linking this keyword with potential pages on your site. So these keywords, of course, relevant to your site, and of course they appear more on some pages on your site than others. So you identified the related web pages to these keywords. So you kind of sketched up a map or mapped out these keywords and where they exist in different pages on your site. And thus you can identify potential popular products on your site that you will include and extract and include as part of your advertising on Facebook, as part of your advertising campaign on Google Ads. So now that you had this work done in the background, now you are ready to start working with the technicals, how to create a Google Ads. I showed you in one of the videos how to create Google Ads from scratch, the very first Google Ads that some of us probably who worked with Google Ads since long ago, we didn't have to do this since long ago. In fact, I have to admit that I haven't had any work done with Google Ads since in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years or so, I stopped for doing any of that work because I was caring for my own family. I prioritize my own family for now. Hopefully I will go back on it this winter, but in any case, guys, nothing much really has changed. If you have noticed in one of the videos, I kind of panicked and I started looking up the releases, and that was good exercise for you to also be advised to always check the releases, but nothing much has happened ever since. And in my slides I still cover all the necessary foundations of Google paid ads, so you are in safe hands. So the first thing in the process is you need to identify that there are different kinds of paid ads. There is search ads, there is shopping ads, there is apps, there is video ads, so there is display ads. So there's about search, display, shopping, video, and applications, mobile applications kind of advertisements. So there are roughly five different kinds of ads, but there's also for local business kind of advertisements. So there are different kinds of paid ads. One of them is the search ad, and this is what we're covering in this lecture. So we specify the search network, and then the search network, guys, extends beyond Google. It's Google and its partners. Its partners maybe also include, not maybe, but also includes YouTube, for example. If you run any search on YouTube, your search ad might have a big chance of popping up or showing up on the search or the SERP on YouTube. Ad campaign name. So you first of all you need a campaign name, but you need also a campaign objective, really. So you have to specify your goal first. Is it for sales? Is it for traffic? Is it for leads? In one of my videos, I emphasized on the importance of starting with a web traffic ad. This is only if you have enough budget for it and working in a big corporation and you're in charge of you want to show off a good performance and you want to gauge the paid search performance better. So if you're running two campaigns at the same time, which is the best, in fact, one for web traffic and one for sales, and finding out how the setup will be different. And also, if you want, you can also run a web traffic advertisement first and then a sales campaign next, and see how this works and compare the results and see if the sales campaign is bringing in more sales really compared to the traffic that is mainly not directed or oriented toward completing orders, but yet you will find a good byproduct of this kind of campaign, and people might complete orders. So you need to find out how the order placement without with no campaigns and with campaigns and with different kind of campaigns. Add campaign name, select your search network, of course, location, language, and of course the audience, and then the bid strategy that you want, and set up your average daily budget and choose an ad extension as well. So these are very technical, kind of easy going, user-friendly steps. Now what goes beyond that is the strategy. Which strategy you're going to follow to create or to organize your ad groups. So you have different ad groups under each campaign. So if this is a campaign, you will have different ad groups. Ad groups are not necessarily organized based on, in an e-commerce store, based on the categories of your website. In fact, there is a better strategy of creating your campaign, and it is based on your bidding keywords and keyword match type. So it is not based on the categories per se, but it is based on the very first in the very beginning of our investigation, your keywords. Most important part is your keywords and their landing pages. So what you need to do is identify your very important keywords, and then identify relevant keywords that you think your customer will most likely search for to get to your page or to get to your product. Ask around, ask the customers, ask around your friends how what kind of keywords they will be using to search to get to your certain pages or certain products, and so on. Then get these shortlisted keywords and their corresponding landing pages, and then first step is to focus on the landing pages optimization. Make sure landing pages have very nice score, very well optimized. If you want, as I told you earlier, when you're running as a traffic campaign, run the traffic campaign in such a way it targets these pages. Then you will have also built up and to prep these pages for a better and greater sales campaign, sales oriented or sales aimed campaign. Then what you need to do is to set up the organization or the strategy for your ad group. Nowadays we talk about organizing our ads, our ad groups, not based on the categories, but in fact based on the keywords, match type, and bidding strategy. I'm going to go into this in more details in a bit. So we have 4 different match types that we talked about, guys. One of the questions that we can pop up is which keyword is more broad match or exact match. So you need to answer this kind of questions. Which one will be executed first, or which one, if we have this kind of the kind of questions that might come, is kind of questions that will appear in the following format that is mentioned here later. This kind of a slide. Maybe I should bring this slide again here, right after this match types, yeah, over here, so that you can also be reviewing this in a timely basis. So if the search term was plumber course, and then you have a broad match here for a plumber course and an exact match, of course the exact match will be selected for the same keyword. So basically, what does that tell you? This tells you probably you don't need plumber course as a broad match. You just need plumber course as an exact match if you think that what you're offering is a course, and maybe have a broad match on plumber training or plumber certification, yeah. Then you will win more, probably more distinct keywords in this case. So over here you have an exact match for plumber. This is the worst that you, and here plumber course. Okay, I understand. So anybody who the exact match. What is an exact match? First of all, let's review. An exact match is a word that anything could come before it, or anything could come after it. Isn't that correct? Let me check here. So an exact match is here, women's hats. This is an exact match, women's hats, hats for women. It won't show that. Yeah, will show. Yeah, this is here is this will not show. Yeah, for exact match, this is example woman's hat. It's gonna be something like buy woman's hat. So sorry, I'm gonna buy. I think your slide set shouldn't have a problem. This slide set, I fixed this earlier. So indeed, so over here we have, let's take a look at the broad match. A broad match is anything is very closely related, very broadly related. Don't worry about the stemming, don't worry about the misspells, prulers, related searches. All that will actually be related. So buy ladies hats will also trigger women's hats. Buy women scarves might also trigger your ad that has this keyword, might also trigger it. Also, searches like, for example, broad hat modifier, broad match modifier. With the broad match modifier, you should have both the keywords that has the plus sign. So red here should have always red, and hats should always be there for women, for men, for kids, whatever it is. But red should be there and hats should be there. Over here, for example, there was no hats, there was scarves. Scarves are very distant relativity, but it was there in the broad match. Now, the idea with the phrase match and the exact match, phrase match is in fact the phrase without no changing of orders. So, but not searches like hats. I think I made a mistake here, which one to fix it. So example search would be buy women's hats. So women's hats here will be there. I'm sorry. Now it's okay. Okay, so here, I'm sorry again. So this is a phrase match. So phrase match over here will be exactly the same, women's hats, and any words before and after, yeah. So this is a phrase match. Any words before and after is fine, but searches like this, hats for women, will not trigger women's hats. So be careful with the phrase match. Phrase match can be tricky. A better match, a very close match, closer than the broad match, is actually the exact match. Because with exact match, if you have women's hats will trigger women's hats. Hats for women will trigger women's hats. I'm sorry, I just messed it. So here, nothing is wrong. I'm just panicking, and maybe there's something wrong in my slides because I fixed something at the very beginning of this module. I found a little problem with one of the slides, so I still kind of panicking that maybe there's still some other problems, but really there isn't. So everything is all right. So phrase match is really very picky. Won't give us that many matches, most likely. But exact match might get us as many relevant searches as possible. So exact match is precious to us in Google Ads. Precious, very precious. If you have very precious keywords, the keywords that we've talked about, put them all in one ad group as an exact match, and see how the exact match ad group works. Yeah. And have a certain bidding strategy for it. So put all these keywords, the very important keywords that you know they are important, as exact match, and bid on them. If the CPC on each one of them, for example, one of them has a CPC, a cost per click is $1.5. then bid the $1.5 or bid $1.3 if you know that your site is all optimized and you're ready to go, you have very good chances, so put $1.2 indeed. Something like that, yeah. And then so this is a nice example. So if you have an exact match, you put all the keywords that have exact match and bid 80% of the CPC. Bid on 80% of the CPC. If the CPC is $1, then bid 0.8 cents for that keyword in an exact match, so that you can get the best out of your money. All right, then you have here the broad match and the broad match modifier. So the same keywords, put them in a broad match ad group and then bid on them probably 50% for the broad match, because you know with the broad match the chances that the traffic that you're getting is mostly the relevancy of the traffic that you're getting is very broad. So the chances that you're gonna get any sales done and orders placed is very, very distant or very remote. So these are the kind of things. So please focus on exact match is very important when it comes to ad groups. And one of the bestest and most winning strategies is not strategies where you have the ad groups classified based on the product categories, but rather on the match type, the keyword match type, in such a way that exact match kind of keyword type gets 80%, let's say, of the CPC, while the broad match and broad match modifier gets less budget, depending on how your budget is like and your knowledge of the industry and your competitors and so on. So now everything is hopefully, these usually phrase match, we use them when it comes to our brand name, like Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is 2 words, so it is in one keyword phrase match, so that the order won't be messed up. All right, so let's talk about here the important metrics. Also, we talked about important metrics. We talked about the click-through rate. With the click-through rate, we have the clicks over the impressions. We talked about conversion rate or average CPC, and it's average because the cost per click, it changes as the market changes. The different factors and market parameters changes, like for example the competition intensity and other contextual factors, like if it's not Christmas anymore or if Halloween is over, so and your campaign runs over multiple weeks, so throughout even different weeks or throughout a same week the CPC might fluctuate. So we take the average CPC, which is the cost, total cost over the clicks. The conversion rate is the conversions over the clicks. The cost per conversion or the acquisition cost, depending if the conversion is placing an order, then it's going to be the money spent over the number of orders placed. So the CPA, the cost per acquisition or the cost per customer, is the cost over the number of conversions or the number of new orders placed. Okay, the campaign goals here, we have sales, leads, and web traffic. I'm not gonna cover this too much. Just one of the questions might come is, what is it about the 3 principles of Google search and Google Ads? One of the most important principles is the relevance, and then control, and then the results. So it is results oriented and performance based. It's very relevant to the audience and to their search terms and your keywords, triggering the right keywords through the different match type. And then it's also about control. It's giving you control. It could optimize your budget for you, but also giving you control over the ceiling, the maximum budget that you are willing to spend for that week or for that campaign or per day even, or per click. And here are the different types that I told you about, Google paid ads types that I told you about. Now we have also talked about the the quality or the ranking, in fact, the ad rank. How do I get my ads entering an auction, and how do I get my ads ranked on top, higher than my competitors, because we understood that the higher the ad rank, the better it is. All right, the first thing we talked about is the maximum bid, and we said very clearly that you can't buy your way up. With your money, you can't just, the more money you spend, necessarily the more likely you are going to be ranked on top. We talked about the ad quality score and the impact of your advertisement. And the impact of your advertisement basically is on how you use extensions and how many extensions. They are free of charge. You don't have to pay for them. So why not using ad extensions, right? So let's talk about here the maximum bid. Of course, you're not going to buy your way up, but the quality score is based on three main pillars. The first pillar is the click-through rate, the CTR. The second is the relevance, and the third is the quality of your landing page. The quality of your landing page, we talked about a lot of quality tips and optimization and page performance factors that you need to take it into consideration when optimizing your pages. Then we're going to talk about also ad extensions. Let's I don't even know why this is here really. Over here, let's talk about the quality of your ad, or the quality score. The quality of your ad, in fact, on the relevance, on the click-through rate, and the landing page. First, let's talk about the click-through rate. The click-through rate is three main also points. The first point is your expected click-through rate, which takes into account your past historical past click-through rate. If you don't have a past click-through rate, Google will crunch its data. First of all, identify which group or which kind of competitors or players in its pool of advertisers that resembles you the most, and see how they progress in the past with the same level of optimization and website optimization and so on, and then they will come up with a certain past CTR measure. Until 2 months in the business, then you will have enough CTR, and then you will have also your click-through rate, the expected, and then the geographic performance for the campaign in certain contextual. So this clicks that either estimated expected, or estimated past CTRs. If you're new, all estimated, they all estimated within your geography. Then we're talking about the relevance, and always I tell my students that the relevance is like a triangle to me. Triangle, on top of the triangle is the search term that the user uses to trigger, the user uses to search for a certain item or a certain subject, and then this search term, it triggers your keywords used in your ad groups. So on the base is actually your keywords, and then your text, your ad itself, so your ad copy, if you would. So the bottom is all on the bottom is the ad group that has different keywords, and each keywords connected with of course, their ad copy. So the keyword relevance is very important. Keyword relevance to both the search term and to the advert that you've written, and the text is also should be relevant to the term, to the search term of the user, as well as to the keyword. Of course, we established this, but also should be also relevant to the landing page, because the ad text, the text or the ad copy, in fact, has a text and has also a path leading to the landing page. And then we have the landing page and its quality and its relevance, of course, and all that. Very good. So now we understood that with the importance of the relevance, the importance of the click-through rate, and other measures. Yeah, I don't like the big font too much. So we understood all about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the quality of an ad rank and the landing page. What are the main things that you need to take into consideration? First of all is the unique selling point. Unique selling point is your value proposition. And the value proposition, I talked about it in my communication class. In my communication class, I talk about based on scientific findings. The Mick labs, the Mick labs, this is a marketing researcher who worked with different clients, helping them improve their design and based on design and based on also their writing, their value proposition and their call to action. So design elements as well as the text based, which is value proposition, message based value proposition. And he's been working in this industry and been doing so much work with different clients for 10 years. And now he's, I think, part of the Michigan University, or University of Michigan, and he's now part of the faculty. Of course, he's a PhD, but he's been all working in research and doing consultancy work. But now he's part of the University of Michigan. And I've been through his course, and I teach his teachings and his method and his results based on research findings. And one of the things that we talk about in class is the unique selling point and how to visualize it and how to not write it in terms of in paragraphs, but in bullet points. It's better in bullet points. And then how we also use the videos and images is better for also digital marketing and optimization. Benefits of the offering, the value proposition, of course, the proof, your positioning, why are you different from the competitors also. Engagement, if there is of course a possibility that you add here, you actually place orders, ask your friends to place orders, or give people coupons, certain coupons that they could use on your site to place orders with certain discount, so that you can have certain reviews, customer reviews, testimonials, and so on. All right, so ad extensions, we talked about site extensions. They are site link extensions, and I also showed you what happens if you don't set up site link extensions. Google will give an automatic site links, and they are linkable. They look like call out extensions, but be careful, call outs are not links. So call out extensions are not links. As you can see here, these highlight your features: free shipping, 24/7 customer service, price matching. So all these are call outs. Then we have the structured snippet kind of extension. Structured snippet depends on how is your men's, women's, like different styles, different categories on your site. Then I talked about how do we rank how Google ranks the advertisements or the search paid advertisements. This is not scientific. This explanation has not anymore any technical background, but it is the foundation of which Google search actually ranks its search paid search advertisements. So first comes into play is the first ingredient of the ranking recipe is the bid. Then comes the quality score of your landing page, and the quality score also the relevance of your site, the click-through rate. So all these, the quality things that we talked about, the three pillars: the landing page, the expected click-through rate, the past click-through rate, the relevance with the search term, with your keywords, with your landing page, with your ad copy, and ad copy with the landing page, and all that. So we talked about all this. And the extensions, the format impact. The format impact here is the extensions. So all these three ingredients together, they give us a certain ad rank. Yeah. And how does that work? Back in the time we were talking about the quality score, there was not much about extensions. And this was posted on Moz website. Since I am kind of like an old, this is a very old uh, uh, infograph, I would call it, that infographic that is not available anymore on the internet. This is how ancient it is. But I find it to be very helpful for my students to understand how the ad rank is operating, even if this is hypothetical, even if it doesn't have any now technical ground on it, built on it, but it helps you understand. So we have here the maximum bid. So for example, we have advertiser 1 to 4. The first one is maximum bid is set to 2, 4, 6, and 8. As you can see here, advertiser 4 is willing to pay the most, but advertiser 4 quality score is very low. Let's say this is the quality score and the extension together, the impact. So this is only 1. Over here 2 stars in terms of stars. Here's 4 stars. Here is really high quality. So what happens? What happens is Google will rank and order the different advertisers that are candidates and entered an auction based on their quality score. So the highest the quality score goes on top, and this person will have the highest ad rank, because here it's going to be, let's say, a certain, there's hypothetically, let's say that hypothetically I'm saying we're multiplying 10 by 2, then 20. So they have highest score. Then here is 4 times 4 is 16. Then 2 times 6 is 12. Then 1 times 8 is 8. So this is almost how it works, The quality score goes first, and there's a certain formula, a certain recipe, a certain way that they multiply, let's say, the quality score, including the extension impact with the maximum bid. All right. Then what happens? One of the students asked me, what happens if, for example, here we have 4 times 4 is 16, and we have 2 times 8 is 16. They both have that 16, 16. What happens? I asked them the question, what do you think should happen? Of course, what happens is the one with the highest quality score will still be on top of the one with the lower quality score, because this is what Google tells us. Google says that money is not the most important, but actually the quality score. This is what they say. Now, how much do you pay? How much do you pay? All right. So now we know that your ad rank is 20, 16, 12, and 8. This person will pay based on the quality score of the advertiser just below. So you don't pay based on your high performance. You pay based on the advertiser right below you in the list. So it depends on the competition. It doesn't depend on Google. This is what I always say. I always say, I hope that I can, and I'm doing that in some classes, I hope that I can reach a point where I am not in control of your grade. You are in total control of your grade, and I'm starting to do that by asking you to, of course, come up with questions to ask about the material, and well, you are then in control of your grade, because if you decide to look at what other students created in terms of questions, worked a little bit harder, collected enough data, and then you will be fine. I am not in control of your grade. You're the one students are the ones who are putting the questions. If some of the questions are really too difficult or too much of memory based, I will not, of course these are outliers, but they are good questions nonetheless. I will try my best to get the medium difficulty kind of questions, very easy questions, and 1, 2 difficult questions. So at the end of the day, it is good to be in control of your own grade, and me not to be in control, not to be biased. So over here, as you can see, this over here advertiser is in fact 16. So we have, for example, let's say it is the ad rank of the person below you over your quality score. So it's going to be 16 over 10, which is 1.6. But then it is 1.6 plus 0.01, a flat rate. So it's going to be 1.61, for example. So there's still a flat rate somewhere. So basically it is the performance of the person below you, which is lower than you. And to improve even your score better, it's over your own performance, which is higher. So it is a fraction. And it helps with, so at the end of the day, you also pay based on the competition. Isn't that awesome? So Google is not in control. It's the competition, it's the market that is in control of the price of the cost per click. All right, this is an example we talked about in class. Then we talked about automated bidding, guys. It's quite a long video here. It's like a lecture that takes everything in perspective, everything that we covered in class in perspective. That's going to be a long lecture, but it's worth it for your review. So with manual bidding comes a lot of questions. First of all, we have with bidding strategies. We have manual bidding strategies, and then we have automated bidding strategies. With automated bidding strategies and strategies under this umbrella comes the smart bidding. We talked about different kinds of biddings. For example, with smart bidding, we have the conversion-based bid strategies, and this is you get access to it as you grow with Google. You have the target under the conversion-based bid strategies. You have the target cost per action. You have the target return on ad spend, ROAS, and then you have the enhanced cost per click. So also we also talked about how Google uses advanced machine learning so that it can help optimize your bidding strategy. It factors in a wide range of auction time signals. That's very nice. It also factors in, this smart bidding strategies factors in auction time signals. What are they? Auction time signals, like contextual kind of auction time signals, is the device used, the location, the time of the day. Also, you can set up which time of the day you would like your ads to appear. Remarketing list, languages, and operating system to capture unique context. So context is very important of every search. Now, set your bid strategy and budget. How do you do that? First of all, with automated bidding, the Google Ads system uses its data to automatically optimize your bidding. Your budget controls your overall spend. All right. Most new advertisers use automated bidding because they find it most effective. For example, if you're looking for conversions, like sales, like leads to capture their emails, you can use maximize conversions strategy. If you're looking to receive as many clicks as possible, like traffic, so you need to maximize clicks. So it's easy going. Then let's talk about what if you don't have anything in mind at the very beginning. Of course, Google will do the optimization for you on its own, just to help you as create your first Google Ads search ad, and then it will do the work for you. So in general, you don't have to set a maximum limit on your bid with automated bidding, because you control how much you spend using your budget. So you say that my campaign's average daily budget, you set up your campaign's average daily budget, and then this will limit how much you spend overall. So you don't have to set up a maximum limit for your bid. What does that mean? This is very important in digital marketing. Back in the time, the biggest dilemma was, before we were able to get these fancy tools like Keywords Everywhere and other Ubersuggest tools that tells you the average CPC and all that. Before all this, nobody knew what's the average CPC for a certain keyword. So sometimes you might bid as $0.5 and then the average CPC is actually $1.5 and you never have a chance of showing your advertisements online. Then you started trialing, like add 0.1 cent, add 0.1 cent, add another 10 cents, add another 10 cents, sorry, and so on until you get overwhelmed, and really was very frustrating, really. But nowadays, as I showed you in the video that I shooted last week, there is now with Google, they show you even the competition range. How much is the range of spend the competition is setting up as a daily average budget, minimum and maximum and in between, and also it tells you an expected clicks of this budget. So things are becoming better and better with Google. So Google got out of the problem of maximizing or finding out the maximum or setting up the maximum limit of your bid by telling you, just tell me how much you want to spend per day, and hopefully I will get you minimum something, anything I can get for you. So that was really big for automating the bidding. All right, so let's say you want to increase conversions across your campaigns at a CPA goal, like cost per acquisition kind of goal across all your campaigns. So it's a kind of portfolio thing, but don't have the time to set an individual max cost per click for each individual keyword. So what you need to do is you need to set up a portfolio target CPA bid strategy. So this is a portfolio kind of target CPA, cost per action bid strategy for all your campaigns. This is what a portfolio strategy, bid strategy means. It's for across your all campaigns. All right. Let's see here what we were talking about. If you want to increase site visits, you maximize clicks. With maximize clicks, you can automatically set your bids to help get as many clicks as possible within your budget. So you can set your maximum CPC bid limit, but this will be manual. But with maximize clicks is available as either a standard strategy like manual in a single campaign. Also it is available as a smart bidding strategy. Also it's available for portfolio bid across multiple campaigns. Let's take a look. Here's the bidding. You say I would like to focus on clicks and I want to automatically maximize my clicks. Then you say maximum CPC bid limit. You can do that, and you can say I want to pay per clicks, or you select a bid strategy directly. So based on the selections, whatever you've done here, the campaign will use maximum clicks bid strategy. So this is with the maximum clicks. So you have clicks, you have the maximum CPC bid limit. This is optional, so you could put it in there, you could just not put it, and you have a certain budget that you set up. This is what Google optimizes. Within $5 a day, maybe they can get you 5 clicks if they manage the CPC to be $1. They can get you maybe more if the CPC is $0.5. Increase visibility. Increase visibility here is very important for brand awareness campaigns, as we talked about in class. And with this, you target impression share. So this is your impression share compared to the competitor, of course. So automatically sets bids with the goal of showing your ad on the absolute top of the page. So this is why it's impression share. Or it's not only on the absolute top of the page, but also on the top of or on any place within the top or anywhere within the page on Google. Target impression share is available on search network only as either a standalone strategy or also portfolio for across all campaigns. So let's take a look at the interface. It will look like impression. I want to focus on impression share. Where do you want your ad to appear? Anywhere on the results page. And what percentage the impression share to target? How 90% of the time. And what is your maximum CPC bid limit? You can here add the bid limit as, for example, $20 as a bid limit. So based on the selection, this campaign will use the target impression share bid strategy. So you need to set up, you need to give a percentage for the impression share. So a percentage of impression share to target. Like 90% of the time, 20% of the time that I am matched with this keyword. Now, what if you want to get more conversions when you're with your target cost per acquisition? Let's say that you know your acquisition cost. You know that you can't spend more than $2 to acquire a customer, because if you do more than $2 per customer, what's going to happen is you're going to have no profits or very meager profits. So target cost per acquisition automatically sets search or display bids to help get as many conversions as possible at the target cost per action, at the target cost per acquisition, target cost per action that you set, at or below, of course. Some conversions may cost more or less. Target CPA bidding is available on either standard or also portfolio bid strategy. Average cost per action here is calculated by dividing the total cost of conversions by the total number of conversions. The total cost of conversions is usually the total cost or the money spent on the campaign. For example, if your ad receives 2 conversions, one costing $2 and one costing $4, your average CPA for these conversions is $3. This is if you are on a conversion campaign. If we're talking that you are running only conversion campaigns. So, but if you are computing the conversion cost based on running a maximum clicks kind of campaign, then it's a different story. Then it's the total cost of the clicks over the number of conversions, and then this will give me the cost per conversion. However, and then you use this information to set up the maximum CPA, conversion per action, in combination, hopefully, with your cost structure. So if your cost structure allows for $3 in marketing per this item, for this keyword that is related to a certain page or product, then you can do this accordingly. All right, so we also talked about this in class. So this is the target CPA. You need to give a target CPA here, and you pay for, this is what I was just telling you about. Are you going to pay per clicks, or are you going to pay per conversions? So you can pay per clicks, or you can pay per conversions. Here, the target CPA, you can take a bidding strategy, or you can say, I would like to focus on conversions, yeah? And then you say on conversions, automatically maximize conversions, and set a target cost per action here as $10, and say I want to pay for either clicks or conversions, and then it would tell you based on this, then you are on the target CPA kind of bid. So guys, depending on whether you're going to pay per clicks or you're going to pay per conversions, you're going to set up your target CPA. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's not very straightforward as here, as in this example. In this example, this is an average cost per action CPA. If you select conversions as the action you would like to pay for, but if you select the clicks as the action you are willing to pay for, we clarified that then the total cost of the whole clicks over the number of conversions will give you the cost per action, right? All right, very good. Now let's talk about types of automated bid strategies. Another type of, of automated bid strategies, we're going to talk about return on ad spend. Target return on ad spend automatically sets bids to help get as much conversion value, not CPA, cost per action, target CPA, but conversion value as possible at the target return on an ad spend. A target return, I want this much return on an ad spend. So I don't know my acquisition cost. I want a return. Some conversions may have a higher or lower return than your target. Now the problem is really uh, with the target return on ad spend, you need to make sure, guys, that um, okay, we would like to let you know, guys, that I would like to, sorry, I got distracted a little. So here, there is a little problem with this. The return here, what's meant by the return is the dollar return, the revenue that you're getting. Because Google doesn't know the cost structure. They don't know the cost of the item that you bought it from you bought the item from the supplier for $2. Google doesn't know that you bought your item for $2. Google knows that you are selling this item for $10. So the value here, returned value, is $10. Now let's compare it. If you have this kind of strategy works very well in niche sites that has the same, all the items has almost similar cost structure. For example, let's consider a website where you have items that costed you $2 and you're selling it for $10, and others that has that costed you um, uh, how much? That costed you uh, $30 and you're selling it for $40. Now you're selling it $40 minus 30. Let's say the total cost, operation cost, and all that cost and expenses is $30, including the cost of the item. Cost of goods sold and operations cost is $30. And all this that Google doesn't know, yeah? So $40 is the revenue you're getting minus the cost of goods sold and all operations cost, let's say, and we're not even still talking about taxes and all that. So let's say that this is how much, and it is $10 in return. You're getting 10, or you're getting 10. And then you have an item where your total cost is like $2 and you're selling it for $10, so you're getting 8. So 10 and 8, but they are different. You could probably get sell this $2 item for costing you for $15. Let's say it's an accessories, like a necklace or whatever, and you sold it for $15. It's costed you $2, let's say. Then you are getting more money, more cash in return, really. Like the profit is different. You got my point? The revenue is maybe the same or different, but or more or less, but how much is the profit? Nobody knows. Only you know how much is the profit. So be wary, very wary, and aware of the dangers of using this. You really need to use it with cautious. Some conversions may have higher or lower return than your target. And over here we have the conversion value measures the amount of revenue your business earns from a given conversion. Revenue, do you see that? I'm going to highlight this again. So it doesn't really measures the cost, the profit basically. If it costs you $20 in ad spend to sell one unit for $100, then your return on investment will be is 5 times, because you have $80, which is um, um, 80 over 20, which is it's actually return on investment. It will be 20, the cost, 1 over 100, 20 over 100 it's going to be. So it's the total cost over the total revenue. So your total cost is 20, and then your total revenue is 100. So your return on investment will be 20 over 100, which is 1 over which is like 20. It's 100. Is it revenue over cost or cost over revenue? I think a return on investment um, should be I think return on investment is cost over revenue, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I need to, it's gonna be the return or benefit in fact over the cost. So I'm sorry, it's the other way around. So it's the net profit over the cost of the investment. I think here I have it here. It is the sales, or it is the revenue over the cost, the ad spend. This is the target return on investment or on ad spend. So please don't make a mistake here. So you have the sales here is 100 over the ad spend is 20. So 100 over $20 is 5. So you are getting 5 folds of what you invested, or 5 times of the return. Here I gave you an example. You have ad group 1 and ad group 2. The ad spend here is 100 and here's 100, one conversion each. The cost per acquisition is the same, but the revenue here is 50 and here the revenue is 300. So here the return on ad spend is much higher than the return on ad spend over here because of the revenue. So yeah, be wary of that. This means that the ad spend shouldn't be the same. To get the same return on ad spend, you need to lower the ad spend. It's very obvious that this is a horrible strategy because the revenue is 50. Do you see that? The revenue is 50, and then the ad spend is 100. I don't even know how is cost per acquisition is 100. So it's kind of like um, cancels out, you know. Ad spend here with the cost per acquisition is 100, then basically um, you haven't made that much really, if any. And so what if you want to get more conversions while spending your budget? This means you just want maximum conversions without setting up a target. And I showed you how to do this with the interface. Get more conversions value while spending your budget. The same thing, conversions value, which is have the return on ad spend. Use it with cautious. Then you have the manual CPC. This manual CPC, you can just select your bid strategy directly as manual CPC, or here, that was the previous form of the interface, but now the interface looks like that. So you select your bid strategy here, or you select your bid strategy enhanced CPC, or if you don't want enhanced CPC, you can just have the manual CPC. Enhanced cost per click means that will increase conversions while staying in control of your keyword bids. How is that so? You automatically adjust your manual bids to help you get more conversions while trying to achieve the same cost per conversion. How does this works? It's available also on both manual CPC bidding, or it's also available as portfolio. It's fully compatible with third-party bidding systems, but it's not widely used because it still needs a lot of monitoring. This is why we like the automated bidding strategies, because with automated bidding strategies we could rely on Google to adjust our maximum targets, yeah, like our targets that we set up, so that we can get the bestest and maximum possible results. So this is an interesting slide here that I probably would love to bring in or find out how and what kind of questions we could ask about this kind of campaign bid simulator. Maybe we can, in fact, try to work with it a little bit in class. It is quite interesting because it helps you find out set up your campaign budgets accordingly, and it shows you visually how this works. All right, let's just see what else we can cover here. Bid strategy. Which bid strategy is right for you? Of course, it depends on your objective. What is your objective? And of course, depending on so many other topics like your match type, your keywords match type. For example, which match type you think worth using cost per acquisition? Of course, maximize cost per action, but you're paying per clicks. For example, if you want to pay per clicks, nobody wants to really pay per click, but sometimes you have to because you still haven't built that much relationship with Google yet. So in any case, if you want to do the cost per action and it is on conversions, then it doesn't matter really if the match type is broad or if it's exact. But if you're paying per clicks, then it does matter. And you probably want to use this kind of bidding strategy for campaign ads or ad groups that has or in-houses the exact keyword match type. So with the smart bidding, we can have the target cost per action, the target return on ad spend or the value, the maximizing conversions or the maximizing conversion value. Over here we have the enhanced cost per click, which is automatically adjust your manual bids to try to maximize conversions for you within a week or so. Managing pay-per-click. With managing pay-per-click, we talked about the idea of the ad group organization. So with Google, they say create specific ad groups with unique sets of keywords and at least 3 ads each. At least 3 ads each. And this is from Google, of course. And unique sets of keywords. Unique sets of keywords. Okay, that's interesting. So this also helps us understand that when I told you get all your keywords, which is all unique of course, and have an ad group that contains all these keywords, even though each keyword targets a certain landing page and a certain interest, but have them all under exact match type. So this is actually copy paste from the Google documentation. So Google doesn't tell you how to do things. It just tells you I like this, but it's you how to read, how to interpret what Google tells you. So the interpretation of this, in fact, and one of the very winning strategies that we found out is to have all the keywords with very distinct, very unique. Every one of them is very unique, but they all share the match type. And this is an example here. For example, if you run a bicycle shop that sells both online and in your storefront, you might create 2 campaigns, one for online and one for the storefront. That's correct. For each campaign, you might have the following ad groups: children's bikes, helmets, same thing, ad groups here, but these are based on different categories of your site, of your site. You could have actually for each category, you could have 2 different ad groups, one for exact match and one for broad match and a broad match modifier. So you could also do that. In any case, you have, here's the account, here's the for example, this is another visual example. If you have an electronics store, so you have a campaign for televisions if you want, and a campaign for cameras. So as you can see, this is another typology. In this typology, if you still want to have the certain different categories have different campaigns, why not? One campaign is objective is sales of televisions, the other is sales of cameras, so that's also valid. And then you will have two ad groups, one for you have ad groups for each subcategory for televisions, but I will also add here two different ad groups, one for exact match type, one for a broad modifier kind of match type. Now let's talk about segmenting match types. So we have something here in digital marketing emerging among different consultants called the tiered bidding, the tiered bidding strategy. With a tiered bidding strategy or stacked bidding strategy, with this strategy, you will have the same keyword is added in multiple match types. You could do that, of course, to better control costs. How is that so? Depending on our understanding of match type, we understood that match type broad modifier and broad match type, of course, gives us a lot of useless or irrelevant clicks to our site. However, exact match will give us more valuable and more desirable clicks to our site. For this purpose, we have to adjust our bidding differently. So we bid differently on different match types. This is basically the premise of it and the foundation of it, and it does make sense. So this ad structure utilizes specific ad groups for each match type. For example, red shoes exist in both broad match and exact match versions in separate ad groups, but your bid on it will be different. So here is an exact match refresher. So for example, you have women's hats. Hats for women will actually trigger women's hats, but not scarves for women. For example, here, most utilized in tiered bidding strategy, an example would be an exact match will catch users searching for Adidas trainers, or trainers from Adidas, but not Nike or not trainers in general. So a phrase match, on the other hand, also will be very, 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 very specific. So implementing a tiered bidding strategy, phrase match keywords can play also a supporting role for other keywords that not covered by exact match. But I can't think of anything other than brand names, really. And the phrase match, as you can see here, allows you to target what we call it long tail search queries. Why? Because for example, customers could add anything before or anything after a certain phrase match. So that would be very interesting for us to see how is this keyword, key phrase or phrase match keyword is used in a long tail keyword. For example, you could in fact use a phrase match in such a way you have size 10 white Adidas trainers. Now you will tell me, what if it's size 12 or size whatever? I will tell you there's something with Google Ads called the automatic insertion, and I will talk about it in a bit. So with automatic insertions, you can refer to different values of the size and the color, and then this will help you pull out or a trigger, not a trigger, but actually match out to long tail keywords. So yeah, in fact, now I remember another use for phrase match other than also the brand keywords. All right, this is also another nice example, and here's about a broad match. It's how broad it is and how costly it will be when you are paying per clicks. So let's take a look here at the match type here. Let's read it together. This match type, the one here, the broad match, this match type means this, like the broad match type. Let me just put this. The broad match type is often seen as the main money maker for Google, of course for Google, but it is a dilemma and the nightmare for you as an AdWords. We don't have AdWords anymore, so Google Ads. It's now Google Ads. This is a little old. For Google Ads account manager. So it's your nightmare, but it is the money maker for Google. So how do you turn this nightmare to your advantage? You need to customize your bidding strategy. So broad match and broad match modifier should be used with caution. However, when used correctly in a tiered pay-per-click bidding strategy, it can help pick up and find unique long-tail search queries, or queries that you have never thought of before. So they are still important. So what do you do in this case? These broad match and broad match modifier, don't bid too much on them, but bid enough that worth the insight that you are going to get out of them, and worth the opportunity or the low rate of conversions, hopefully, or sales that you're getting out of them. And you have your data, historical data, and you can judge how much you should be spending and investing in a broad match and modifier ad group. The idea here, you keep an eye on the very popular keywords that keeps triggering your ads via the broad match modifier. And what happens then, you say, oh, these are very valuable keywords. I probably should invest more and bid more on these keywords. So what you do is you take these keywords, how do you take these keywords? You add these keywords as negative keywords. Remember in the keywords match, we have a negative keyword. So add these as negative keywords, meaning don't trigger these keywords anymore under the broad match ad group, and create a new ad group that is an exact match ad group. With the exact match ad group, now these keywords will be triggered, and their of course corresponding ad copies will be triggered more often when with higher chances, with higher likelihood, when you are bidding higher on them now. So you are bidding higher on them because they are more valuable. So the broad match could lead you to a more valuable keywords that you think they shouldn't be in a broad match. These are keywords that I missed out on. I've learned from Google. I've learned from my visitors. So I'm gonna minus them, negative keyword, add them as negative keyword in that ad group, and create a new ad group with the exact match type of these keywords on their own, so that you can keep an eye on their performance in the future. So this is the tiered bidding strategy. And this tiered bidding strategy, if you're not using it nowadays, these days, as a marketing officer, then you are very outdated. Yeah. And I'm not gonna tell you it's worth it that you know that there are many people who are not marketing officers, and they are entrepreneurs, startup companies, and what they do is they do their own marketing themselves. They went they worked hard, they went for a training course to use Google, they learned the technicals, and they're still struggling. Why? Because it's beyond the technical. And this is why you, as a university graduate who took principles of marketing, who took this course with me, hopefully prepped you very well. And not only technical wise, technically you can learn it easily yourself once you are on the job, or my students who have a digital property right now, an e-commerce site, could invest a little bit to learn a little bit more by setting up very short campaigns, 1 week, 2 weeks campaign, not for the sake of selling, but just for the sake of testing. And you could easily of course train yourself to use the technicals. But I'm now giving you the strategy tips that very difficult to find in many technically oriented training courses for using Google. So please take a look at these notes, they worth it. So exact match should be the highest bid amount, then phrase match should be probably the second highest, and then you have the broad match and broad match modifier. This should be like the third highest bid. So if you want, you can have like 100% is same as the average cost per click if you want, or 80% of the average cost per click. Then from the exact match, maybe you should give a phrase match 80% of the exact match, and we have understood how to do the phrase match now, giving us, I'm going to show you how to do the insertion, the automatic insertion, in fact, the phrase match here. And then over here we have the broad match modifier. So if the exact match keyword maximum cost per click is $1, for example, the advertiser may want to bid 80%, which is 80 cents for phrase match, and then maybe 60% for broad match and broad match modifier. Or maybe you don't want to begin with set 100% of the budget as an average cost per click. In any case, this is an example here for run search query reports, where you actually can segment the match types based on the exact, especially the exact match, putting them on a separate ad group. And then instead of relying solely on tiered bidding, you can also exclude your exact match keywords from your broad match ad group to funnel traffic to the specific ad group. Oh yeah, this is also a tip that I just talked to you about it right now, to add negative keywords. So you have here a campaign, a shoe campaign, and you have different ad groups. So you have ad group red shoes. You see red shoes has an exact red shoes, and red shoes as an ad group has a broad match modifier red shoes. Then bright red shoes ad group has two keywords, bright red shoes exact and bright red shoes broad. This is not what can I tell you? This is the match type within the ad group. This is not, and then here's the dark red shoes, and this is exact and this is a broad. So by segmenting match types, you need to segment match types, guys. You can maintain tighter control. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is you need to put all the exact in one ad group rather than different ad groups. So this is an ad group and this is one ad copy, one ad copy, one ad copy, instead of three different ad groups that has two different match types. So don't do that. Okay, so next style is similar to the match type segmentation, but with looser scope. Rather than segmenting all keywords by match type, you only create focused ad group for your consistently converting queries. Oh, okay, so for your converting queries only. To begin, I told you how I did it. Like I do it, the consistently converting queries will emerge. So this is an emergent strategy. So you start with the strategy I told you, which is segmenting based on the match type. Of course, there might be a higher segmentation, which is based on the category and subcategory, but each subcategory, for example, should have exact match type, then have a phrase match type, and I'm going to talk about phrase match type, and then has a broad and a broad match type modifier. So then you have different bidding on it, and then an emergent strategy would be keep consistently looking at the query report, and then you can find out which ones are the winning winning keywords across them all, then put them in a new ad group and call this ad group and understand this ad group is the consistently converting queries. You can name it, and then you need to subtract negative keywords, add negative keywords of these keywords, the consistently converting queries that you just added an ad group for them or created an ad group exclusively for them. All right, so this is things that here, as you can see, So you have red shoes broad, red shoes broad, red shoes broad, red shoes broad, and it has all different broad keywords, as you can see. Then you have the exact shoes, red shoes exact. As you can see, this is exact, and this is exact. But these are all negative keywords for the exact. Do you see here exact, red shoes, then this red shoes, negative exact, bright red shoes, negative exact, dark red shoes, negative exact. And this is an ad group for red shoes broad, and this is for red shoes exact. And this is the red shoes broad should have negative keywords here for the exact, matching up the exact. So if you have a broad red shoes ad group, in this red shoes ad group, the broad, you should have negative exact keywords here to get rid of red shoes, bright red shoes, dark red shoes, so that you can use them or they can be triggered from the exact red shoes ad group, the exact bright red shoes ad group, and the exact dark red shoes ad group. All right. Okay, so writing a successful ad. This is the last topic we covered so far. So you need to be clear about what you are promoting. Be relevant with the keywords that connected to the ad copy and relevant to your landing page. Match the description to the headline, of course, at least minimum one of the important keywords in the ad group should be included in the headline. Match your ad to your headline page and make sure your ad are approved, of course, and then appeal to customers on mobile. The appeal on mobile is very important nowadays because most of the transactions nowadays and purchases are happening on mobile. Writing successful ads. First of all, be clear. Please understand what Be Clear is. Be Clear is, please, if you've included digital cameras as a keyword, your ad headline should say buy digital cameras and have buy as a call to action. Be relevant, I explained it. Match the description, of course. Match your ad to your landing page, of course. Do not use these capitals and the small letters. I think even Google doesn't allow you to do that. Or exclamation marks. I think you're not allowed to use them anyway. Also, make sure that your website is adaptive to mobile, meaning it changes a bit of its structures and size based on the mobile or handheld device screen size. The following ad groups also, there are policies. For example, here flowers, here buy. This an indication that you don't even understand how to write English. This is bad. Or buy flowers. This is very bad spelling. So be careful with your spelling. Or ads or extensions that are incomprehensible or don't make sense. Please ignore them altogether. Certain keywords or words, slang words that are not understandable. Ads or extensions that exceed character limit. I already put you to work with a tool online so that it can help you with the ad character limit. I don't memorize the ad character limit. You don't have to memorize the character limit. You can just brainstorm while using these tools, writing your ad. Ad extensions or ads or extensions that are inconsistent with the clear and informal presentation style of Google search results. Example could be something like a generic call to action or click here or something like that. Punctuation also, nothing acceptable like this. Avoid anything that looks like this, and I think it's one of the policies that it's invalid altogether, including emojis are invalid. Capitalization is also invalid. Repetitions is also very bad. Unacceptable spacing, too much spacing or spacing like that, thinking that you're getting attention. No, not acceptable. So be careful. make sure that your ad is approved before you say, okay, I'm done, I created an ad campaign. Keep looking if it's got approved. And over here, there's an example of an ad group within the Google AdWords or the Google Ads. It's no longer AdWords, the Google Ads campaign management tool. I'm going to talk about this in a separate video. Keyword count, 10 to 20 keywords, minimum 3 ad copies in an ad group. Dynamic content insertion, this is very important. It is easy to test alternative creative copy, but may be easier to use dynamic content insertion. Check that your agency has developed best messages, blah blah blah, and then you do the dynamic insertion to tailor the ad for better user experience. For example, there's a syntax in Google like keyword and default phrase. Yeah, so it is used to activate this dynamic keyword insertion feature when defining the ad headline or the description. This typically results in a greater relevance and higher click-through rate. You need to submit an Excel CSV, separated file to the tool, to Google Ads, to the tool, to Google tool. And then with it, they give you a template and you just need to populate the template. And then with this, Google will use it also to replace certain keywords that match up with the search term the user has, so that the advertisement is more personalized. These are just details that we talked about already, and diagnostics is very important. I'm teaching more about these diagnostics and how to write a good value proposition and call to action in my business communication class. So with this, I am done, guys, reviewing this whole module with you. I hope this review will help you study for the quiz for this Friday. This is optimizing pay-per-click, of course, with the I'm not going to give you any more details here. These are just blah blah blah. The optimization, we've already talked about it over here. Optimizing by not adding, optimizing by adding the dynamic content insertion, optimizing by not using the unnecessary spacing or unnecessary symbols or short here. These are common codes or whatever abbreviations, even though they are allowed, but try to avoid them. But this, avoid something like that, and this. So this is how you optimize your and also the number of keywords is from 10 to 20, not more than that, and the average of 3 minimum ad copies, so that your ad group will be optimized. If you have less than 3, then it is questionable as well. All right, guys, this is it for this module, the paid search. I hope that this lecture helped you. Oh yeah, this is optimizing pay-per-click. We actually had it with the writing the text and all that. We've already covered that. I think I just I had let me just check here. Managing pay-per-click. Maybe I should say managing and optimizing pay-per-click. So it should be managing and optimizing pay-per-click. So this, I won't need it anymore. All right, so now this is the up-to-date set of slides. Good to go for studying for quiz 2. Best of luck, guys, and I'll see you in class.